Alright, so what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel, man. It's your boy. And because of the fact that we have the Black Friday secret shop bingo going on right now, I had a lot of people reaching out to me asking me to update the artifact tier list because, as you can see, as is always the case, from the bingo, you're able to pick up a 5 and a 6-star artifact selector. And if you spend a little bit of cash, you can also get 2 more of these selectors from the Black Friday event shop. Over here, as you can see, another 5 and a 6. This is the time of year that you chase artifacts if you do in fact try to chase them. You never want to gamble for them using crystals because it's just a bad, sad time in most cases. And it's been about 7 months since we updated the artifact tier list. So what I wanted to do today is update it because in that time we've gotten about 30 new artifacts. And I didn't want to just come in and add these artifacts all willy-nilly. What I actually wanted to do was revamp the whole thing with some new tiers and separate a few different artifacts into some completely different tiers. I'm gonna try and break it down for you, but before we get into that, there is a very important thing that I want to discuss. First and foremost, front and center, it's coming up on 1 year, okay? 1 year since the release of the null artifact, and there is no there's no mention of this thing finally being added to world boss. And this is very important because all of the other world bosses, their artifacts have been added and is farmable. As you can see, we have Infinity Thanos, we got Kang, we got Gore, we got Black Swan, Jean Grey, and we recently, with Thanos getting his World Boss Legend Plus stage, we got the ability to farm Thanos. So what's going on, Netmabu? What's going on, Netmabu? We still waiting on that null artifact, but null is one of, if not the most powerful PvP character in the game, and they want to make sure that they hold on to his artifact for as long as possible to force people into using their selectors to pick his artifact. So that's why they're making us wait. There's no doubt in my mind that at some point it will be free, but I gotta be honest with you guys, I didn't think we'd be waiting a year. It's crazy. 2 weeks is gonna be a year since the release of the ancient history uniform for null. He's still super dominant, just as dominant as ever, and the artifact is still one of the best in the game. So truthfully speaking, it should be top meta picks, but because it's eventually gonna be free and it could happen literally in the next update, I kind of feel bad putting it in this tier. Now, as you can see, I have removed a lot of people who were previously in the top meta picks. People like Carnage, Madeline, Hela, Deadpool, Magic. And these characters, when they get these artifacts, are very powerful. Now, I try to judge characters based on not just how they perform with their most recent uniform, but how much of an impact the artifact makes for them, and overall where they stand in the game. And because of that, even though Wolverine and Carnage both have the same artifact, what they gain and what they can do is nowhere close. So I felt a little icky, disgusting even, putting them on the same level. To be honest with you, I'm probably going to move Adam Warlock down a little bit, and I'm thinking about moving Silver Surfer down a little bit to kind of separate some of the gap between these guys, because I don't think they're at the same level anymore. Like, Logan is still one of the best in the game. Ghost Rider is still one of the best in the game. Storm right now, the queen of PvE content, and her artifact just makes her even more powerful. 20% more elemental damage. Sentry, you know, he's right there with Null one-on-one, and Scarlet Witch, having become human, has now skyrocketed in value. So her artifact was already really good. Now it's even better. We moved up Gambit because with the new days for Mutant Male, yeah, he's now meta alongside somebody like Magneto for swap play. Magneto used to be up here. I moved him down because he's, you know, he's getting pushed out, but he's still hanging around. Winter Soldier, we moved up. His artifact is good, and his overall utility, having 2 uniforms, a speed and a combat. The artifact is a good pickup. For me, the way I would look at it is, I would say these guys in the top row here, definitely worth picking up at 6 stars. These guys right here at great picks, 5 or 6. And here's the thing, I kind of want to move Gladiator down to good picks because now he has competition, and I'm happy to see from Ares, right, as an alien combat character. And then we also have Crescent, who, sure, she's not going to replace him, but we also have Venom. You know, there's a good amount of combat characters that are now in the ABX scene, and his days are now dwindling. So I kind of want to move him down, even though he is still the most powerful if you have the ability and the patience to play him. I also want to move Hulk. He is still the best combat villain. You know, he is technically better than combat Bucky, combat villain Bucky, better than Kingpin, all them, right? And his artifact is pretty impactful, but with 2 uniforms, I feel like it just makes sense to put him a little bit ahead. Miles, this one gives him a little bit of survivability. I think even though it's good, it should not be in the same tier. I think probably should move Thor down as well, right? So I think looking at it, this is where we should be with these guys. All of them top row, worthy of 6, 5 or 6. I think makes sense. Hulk might deserve to be moved down a little bit. Let me know. I think the first row here for the supports, all of these are worthy of having at 5 or 6. Closer you can get to 6, the better. Franklin, if you like the Fantastic Four and you use them a lot for Otherworld Battle, then yes, 5 or 6, but otherwise a 4 is fine. I would, even though these guys are supports, I would stop. I wouldn't chase them past 4-star for anything past these guys. All right, so from Wasp to this guy here, I wouldn't go past 4-star. Valeria, because Invisible Woman is now ABX meta as the strongest female blast character, yes, stronger than Sharon Rogers, her support artifact is beneficial to juice up your Sue Storm. Okay, maybe I'll move her right over here and move these guys back a little bit. She's still in the meta with Crescent. By the way, you might be wondering where Crescent is. Crescent is in the free category. I don't think there's any need for you to go past 4-star Crescent that you can farm in Rifts anymore. You know, that's just the god honest truth. But if you want to squeeze out more damage, you want to be the best ABX ABL player, then yeah, go for it. I think everybody here in the good tier all the way to about here, Kamala Khan, is worthy of picking up at least 4-star. You can go higher if you want, but I think 4-star makes sense. Kamala Khan and Black Bolt for the Inhuman. Gwenpool, one of the strongest speed female villains in the game. I think she should probably be a little bit higher as the alien. Like, she's one of the strongest alien characters in the game. Revive. Doctor Strange is probably the king of PvE content, but his artifact is not very good. However, if a character has tier 4 and there's an artifact available for them, which is often the case, the artifact will give them a little bit more damage to take you a little bit further. So it's a good idea to pick up at least a 4-star. Rogue is just dispatched these days. Spider-Man, these guys are pretty much just AC Otherworld Battle. So if you play that piece of content, cool. I wanted to put Cyclops a little bit lower. I wanted to put him in strong artifact but weak character, but unfortunately, not unfortunately, but realistically, he's actually a really good DPS It's just that most people would prefer to use him as a support character, and his artifact is not a support artifact, right? And that's the honest truth about this tier right here. Like, for example, somebody like Wasp, she has the same artifact as Wanda. You know, 20% extra damage to heroes and villains. It's literally the same artifact as Null, one of the strongest artifacts in the game. But Wasp is not a DPS, so having this artifact is strong, but it doesn't serve the character in the way how you use her, because she's just a support. And that is the case for majority of the characters in here. But obviously she has a revive, but she's no longer strong enough for most content, you know. And that's the case for these guys, even though they have really strong artifacts. He has tier 4, even these guys tier 4, but they're just not strong enough. He has arguably the strongest artifact in here. It's the same artifact as Wolverine, but he's just weak, so can't really justifiably put him in the same tier. You know, it just sends the wrong message to people, especially if they're just skimming through the video and they look and they see, well, that's their fault at that point if they just skim and don't pay attention to the actual information. So yeah, then we got the average. These artifacts are literally just average, and I tried to put the characters who have tier 4s available front and center, from left to right, all the way to Professor X, and then the rest I just kind of filled in the blanks, because it's just average. Like, it's better than nothing, right? Sad to say, we're still waiting on Null. And these guys, these artifacts are just bad. It just doesn't fit the way how the characters play, and the characters at this point are kind of weak, you know. Like, for example, Riri, she's a support, but her artifact just benefits herself, so it just doesn't make any sense. Now let's go ahead and fill in the artifacts that we have not filled in for the last 7 months. First and foremost, we got Agent 13, and this one gives you ignore, dodge, and all attack. It's, in my opinion, average, you know. Then we got Ares. I think this one is definitely one that I would put in the meta picks, you know. Like, honestly, am I reaching? Let me know if I'm reaching. It's 5 or 6 for Ares. I'm definitely going to use one of them on him. Then we got Athena. I think it's good, but she's a support character, right? It increases the basic damage dealt to people with 50% HP or higher. It would be a great artifact for ABX stuff, but she is not tier 4able, so she's a strong-ish artifact, but she's a weak character, so we just gotta put her in there. All right, then we got Black Knight. This one gives you the same kind of passive thing as these two right here. Makes you ignore some damage. It's the Black Swan effect, but he's weak, you know. He doesn't have tier 4, so we're just gonna toss him in here and call it a day. Then we got Daisy. Unfortunately, Miss Daisy, your artifact is as average as you. Sadly, gonna go right here. Then we got Ghost. Ghost artifact is actually pretty powerful. It's the same exact one as Null. However, Ghost is pretty weak, so we're gonna put it right there. Strong artifact, weak character. And then we got this man right here. It's a good artifact, to be honest with you. 20% all attack and 20% max HP. It's above average, right? But he's weak, you know. He's weak, slightly above average, right? 20% max HP. I think is it the same thing that Venom has? I think so, right? But yeah, let's move on. A lot of these artifacts are copy paste of stuff we've seen before. We got damage reduction from hero and villain for Gorilla Man. It's a decent artifact, right? But he's bad. Then we got Hades. This one is ignore, dodge, and all attack. It is I'm gonna put this in good, just because he is I can justify it, because if you're like close to 12 million and you just need something to push you over the edge, an extra 20% all attack and some ignore dodge might be what, you know, decides whether or not you get that extra chest for the tier 4 material. And a lot of people are going to pick him up and tier 4 him for the simple fact that he's easier to score with than Loki, you know. So the overall value of the character will make it so that they're standing a little bit of a higher tier, even though their artifacts may not be the greatest. Like his artifact is average, but it's a good pick because he is a good character, if you get me, right? But I would definitely put him like probably around here somewhere, whatever, in that tier, right? Actually, I probably should put him closer to the top because looking at everybody here, him and Gladiator are the ones that really are getting a lot of work, and then Thor. The rest of these guys are just AC. No, she's kind of getting work these days now. Let me make sure that this actually makes sense to me, and then see if it makes sense to you guys in the comment section. All right. All right. Gwenpool gets some work too. Doc Ock just got pushed out. He's getting pushed further and further down. Yeah, I think this looks good. Kingpin also got pushed down. So I'll put Doc Ock and Kingpin right around the same spot. This makes sense in my tiny brain. All right. Then we got Xerxes. 20% extra damage to heroes and villains. It's a good artifact, but a strong artifact. Can't make a man that is weak strong. Solid. Nemabo, please do better. Oh my god. Anyways, then we got Cho. His artifact, unfortunately, it's strong, but it's not what we needed from him. He's now a support character. He has literally the same artifact as Hercules, but it's not that great, right? Video coming on him soon. Just got a lot of stuff that I want to pump out to you guys that you guys probably care more about than a video about Cho. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, then we got ignore dodge and increased basic damage from Medusa. It's okay. It's okay. I'm gonna put it in average. Sadly. Anyways, then we got Mephisto, the big dog. I would say this is definitely one that you want to pick up. This is one of my 6 stars going to him. Okay, just know that 20% extra elemental damage. Sign me up. It's the same thing as a storm, by the way. All right, but again, his place in the game, so close to he's at the pinnacle, right? So can't do wrong with that. Anyways, this one is dodge and auto attack. It's above average, but the character is so bad that it drags down the value of the artifact to just average, in my opinion. Then we got Nova. This is a support artifact. 15% extra damage to heroes and villains. He is a meta support for ABX. So because of that, I would say this is definitely worth picking up at 5 or 6 stars. So pick your poison. Then we got Philovel. This one increases the damage to heroes and villains. Philovel is a support character, so that's kind of a bad artifact for her at this point in time. Now keep in mind, the characters that have artifacts in here, all it takes is for them to get a uniform that changes their playstyle or increases their current damage output to something extraordinary, and then these artifacts will immediately jump out of here into like the upper tiers, right? That's honestly why it is, why I'm separating the list like this. Anyways, then we got the Red Guardian. This is the same one as Venom. It's HP and attack. It's above average, but the character himself is below average, so it drags down the value of the artifact in my eyes. Then we got Shalabal, and this one is a revive artifact. I would say if you have the character, it's a great pick, right? And because she has debuff removal and is a reflect pylon with decent utility for Otherworld Battle, TBA, and AC, I could justify putting her in here, right? I could justify putting her in here with Strife. If Strife can be justified for the healing, to be honest, I don't think Strife can be justified anymore. It's a good artifact, but Strife has kind of fallen off. We've gotten more debuff removal characters, and the only place that he was really standing out is Otherworld Battle. Yeah, because if I had to choose between her revive and his healing, come on now, I'm choosing hers. Anyways, Slapstick. Oh man, I hope one day this guy gets an amazing tier 4 and just completely wrecks the game. He has one of the best artifacts in the game. It's the Giga Dodge that Spider-Man and them have, but literally the same thing that these guys have, but he's bad, you know? So sadly, can't really get much out of him. Increased damage dealt to super villains. This one is a strong artifact, but Sunspot is weak only because he can't get to tier 4. Alright, then we got Taskmaster, my man Tony Masters. This one is giving you extra damage via some critical rage / critical damage. It's the same one that Cable, Loki, and what's your face have. What's it? Right here, Psylocke. Right, they all have the same thing, but to be honest, because he's a support, doesn't make sense, right? But here's the thing: if you're free to play, you don't have Crescent, you don't have the money to buy Crescent's uniform, your tier 4 Taskmaster pick up the female uniform, put this artifact on him or her, then you have a decent combat female superhero, and this extra little bit of damage that comes from the artifact might be enough to get you a couple extra rewards, and over time that adds up and you can help build out your roster that way. So like, none of these artifacts are absolutely worthless. It's just dependent on where you are in the game and which characters you have built, right? But some of them obviously are significantly better than others. Anyways, this one right here is for the hood. It's average, just a little bit of extra damage to people when they're below 50% HP. Right, that's it. And then we got US Agent. All attack and ignore non-enemy, non-boss enemy decrease. Right, so basically a PvP artifact. Without tier 4, he has no chance. No chance. That's what you got. No chance in anyways. Aphrodite, I would say this one is average too. It's all attack and ignore dodge. And then we got Werewolf. Unfortunately, this is not gonna do much, even though it's a good artifact, right? It's gonna give you extra damage to heroes and villains, but Werewolf at best is a support, and at this point a very bad support. At an early game, good for new players, but later you get in the game, nada, zilch. Next we got my girl here, Yelena. I'm gonna put this one in average, to be honest. It's kind of bad, right? The only reason I'm putting it in average is because the character can be tier 4. That's it. Like, it's actually so sad. It 50% chance to remove debuffs, as 50-second cooldown, then you get 20% all attack for 25 seconds. The fact that you can't get the all attack all the time, and you have to get debuffed to then get the 25% all attack, and then there's a long ass cooldown. It's honestly, no, I can't even put this in average. It's gotta go in bad, bro. you gotta go in bad. It's a bad precedent to set, bro. Like, most artifacts are there passively all the time. For you to have something bad happen to you, and then you get lucky enough to survive that thing that's bad happening to you, then you get a small attack buff, and then it goes on. Nah, that's crazy, bro. That's crazy. It's literally the same thing that I think she has. But it wasn't good here. Even with a tier 4, it's still not good here. Shit just don't make no sense, bro. Anyways, then we got Yellow Jacket, bro. This is a really good artifact, and it makes sense because he's like an ant-type character. He shrinks, he gets bigger, so he's very elusive, right? It's a strong artifact. It's the same one that Spider-Man, Black Widow, and all them have, but you can see Spider-Man is in a better tier, Black Widow's in a better tier because they just have stronger kits, so they can take advantage of that artifact. Then we got Jesus. I know I owe you guys a video on this guy. He's coming up. This is definitely a meta pick. Okay, so they did make sure to give him a solid artifact. It's 20% ignore dodge and 20% extra damage to villains. Okay, So the extra damage to villains is good. Heat door dodge is not bad. I definitely would put it probably here. Maybe no, maybe here. I definitely don't think I don't think Sentry needs the artifact that much, to be honest with you. But then again, none of these guys at the top really needs the artifact, but it does benefit them a lot to have it. Anyways, ladies and gents, leave me your thoughts in the comments. This is the updated artifact TLS. I think we got 249. I might be missing one. If you guys can tell me which one I'm missing in the comment section, I'll pin your comment. But I think I am missing one. I think I have 248 instead of 249.